Hey everyone, 皆様、こんにちは. 僕のチャンネルへようこそ. Today I'm here to talk about Happy Go Lucky from 2008 by Mike Leigh. Mike Leigh is a director who I really admire, presenting characters and relationships and letting the audience simply be caught up in their world. Many of his characters are in less than ideal situations, but this is where Happy Go Lucky differs, being about a cheerfully pleasant woman who enjoys life. This has led quite a few critics to label this Lee's happiest movie, but this has a much bigger dark side than is usually acknowledged, at least at its time of release. And this mixture is partly what appeals to me about this movie. It's about Poppy, played charismatically by Sally Hawkins, an elementary school teacher who is incredibly happy pretty much all the time. She's unwaveringly optimistic and positive, and seemingly tries to make friends with anyone and everyone. There's even one scene where she sees that her sister is having an argument with a man, and even with her sister clearly upset at him, she's all smiley and pleasant with him anyway. I won't claim that she's completely devoid of irritation, but she more than makes up for it with her good nature. She lives with her best friend, a fellow teacher named Zoe, who together enjoy hanging out with Susie, Poppy's younger sister, and others. The movie doesn't have a plot as much as it has a few situations that Poppy gets caught up in. For example, the movie begins with her bike being stolen, which she takes in stride, using it as an opportunity to take driving lessons, but more on that later. She has to deal with the bully in her class. She starts taking flamenco lessons, visits her older sister, and starts dating a man towards the end. I personally love movies that don't bother with forcing a point A to point B plot onto what's simply a time in the life of a character. Slice of life, I suppose, is what that's called, and it's one of my favorite genres, if you can call it that. Considering the title and the infectiousness of Poppy, I can't say that the movie isn't first and foremost a comedy, especially with Poppy constantly cracking jokes. Even if not all of the jokes are funny, it feels good to watch her getting along with Zoe and her other colleagues, and later her new boyfriend. This is someone who truly enjoys life, and it's enjoyable for us to see her going about her day and interacting with people. But the truth is, not everyone is as happy as she is, as much of the movie is spent contrasting her with other, less positive people. For example, Poppy and Co. visit her older, married, and pregnant sister, who criticizes her lifestyle and optimistic outlook, while clearly hiding frustrations about her own life. There's also a class bully among her students, who it turns out is being abused at home, and she has a lengthy encounter with a homeless man with mental issues that would scare most people away. This scene in particular is fascinating because it's such a stark contrast to the rest of the movie, which is much more bright in comparison. But the main supporting character who Poppy deals with is her driving instructor named Steve, played by Eddie Marsan, who's unquestionably the meanest, most short tempered person, not just in this movie, but most other movies also. We see quite a few lessons Poppy takes from him, and they get gradually more uncomfortable as we see more, wondering how she's able to stay as consistently cheery as she does in the face of pure anger. He eventually reveals himself to be a racist incel stalker, and when he sees that she has a boyfriend, it sets him off into road rage and he attacks Poppy. We then see Steve break down in the movie's climax, where he misinterprets her kindness and comes clean about how he feels about her. This is the only time in the movie where Poppy's cheerful attitude is directly criticized by anyone, but that doesn't mean that the movie itself is criticizing it. Rather, it shows how some people are so deeply unhappy that seeing someone else who's happy actually makes them angry. Of course, this doesn't get Poppy to abandon her ways, as it shouldn't. Rather, it leads to a wonderful final scene, which I'll get to later. But between this and other encounters by less enthusiastic individuals, there's a significant dark edge to it that makes this a rich mix of a movie to me. Shifting to my favorite scenes, my favorite secondary character has got to be the flamenco instructor. She has a great amount of energy, but she's also just really funny. She's sincere, but something about her expressions just makes me laugh. Poppy's reactions to doing the first posture are also priceless. There's something really minor here that sticks out in my mind. Mike Lee doesn't really play around with time very much, but he does so once here. Poppy notices the bully picking on a kid outside. Then we cut to one of her driving lessons, where they talk about the education system, and she asks if Scott was ever bullied in school. We then cut back to the school, where the bully's throwing punches. It's an effective commentary done through editing that comes out of the blue. I also love the final scene, a long, intricate tracking shot to end the movie. After the final episode with Scott, Poppy reaffirms her positive outlook on life here. She acknowledges that she can't make everyone happy, but it's worth trying. She also acknowledges how lucky she is that she is happy, and Zoe says that people have to make their own luck as well. It's a little bit on the nose, but it's earnest and beautifully brings the whole movie into perspective and wraps it up. I also love how it was shot, with the camera starting on a boat presumably and ending on a crane. It's a quietly masterful shot from a director who's not known for his camera movements. But in the end, what I love about Happy Go Lucky is that it's a Mike Leigh slice of life that's unique amongst his movies, being about a very pleasant and happy character enjoying life, and it really makes you think about what it means to be happy and unhappy. It's one of my 1000 favorite movies. Thanks for watching my video. Goshoujo makoto ni arigatou gozaimasu. Have you seen Happy Go Lucky? Please let me know what you think in the comments. I think of all my favorite movies as friends, and I think of my audience as friends too.